Is it better to make trading companies or leave them as territories? Basically, for trading companies, what happens is a province has a minimum amount that they can potentially add, which is like a tenth of their governing capacity. And a territory only contributes like 25% of their total, whereas a state contributes 100. So if you build a courthouse in a territory, it contributes the minimum amount towards governing capacity. Does that make sense? Meanwhile, if you make a trading company, then it increases the governing capacity to 50% from 25 to 50, whereas a state has 100. Meaning, obviously, it will contribute more than the minimum it can, even with the courthouse. But once you get the town hall, you can actually, theoretically, if you pump this into everything, which is way in the late game though, it's Tech 22, I think. If you pump this into everything, you can then trade and company everything, and it will still have the minimum in terms of governing capacity. So basically, definitely, most people just play the early game. The general rule for the early game is that you do this here. This is what my trading companies look like, which is basically you put one for the trade centers, and that way, if you have every trade center inside of a trading company, you easily have the merchant from the trading company. And then you do the minimum, the smallest development province of each state. Just one. And that way, that is the lowest but also effective way to build trading companies, the lowest governing capacity way. Then in terms of having only one per area, you don't really invest into the trading companies apart from this guy here, which is goods produced for the entire area. So this affects the entire area regardless of whether it's inside the company or not. It gives you the goods produced. And then if you wish, you can do some of these big ones, like the entire area gets reduced autonomy, or the overall best one is this, trade value. Just ignore trade value and just think that it is goods produced, which it is goods produced. That's exactly what it does. It's 10% increased goods produced. Trade value and goods produced are identical. They're two different modifiers, but if you do the math, they're literally identical. It does the exact same thing. So that is 10% goods produced in the entire area, the entire trading area, like Anatolia Charter. And then this one here is goods produced in every single area within the area, if that makes sense, the trading area. So that's pretty much all you need to know. You can, like I said in the late game, spam these and trade and company everything. But honestly, it's hardly even worth it. It's up to you. You can do that, but I don't want to really talk about it because it's actually so complicated. It's hardly even better to do it. Otherwise, there is an exception to what I just spoke about, and it's if you're a smaller nation, like kind of like playing tall or multiplayer. Say that, for example, you just have this, and you're never going to get that. Or alternatively, the game's going to be that way for a long time because it's not the late game. You don't have admin efficiency, blah, 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 blah. In that case, you can like build a trading company tall by adding everything. And it's this guy here, the company depot. The company depot gives local trade power to every single province in that area. So this is the way that you take a small area trading company and you get 50% of the trade, is by you would add all of this and then you give +4 trade power to every single one. So to give you an idea, a rank 5 one of these is 5 trade power. So think about how strong 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, especially compared to the AI. That's a good way to like rip trade out of an area that you don't have that much control over, and also to get the merchant hub. You basically buy them with these. But in order to do that, you have to add everything because it does not give it to the area, it just gives it to the trading company. So in that circumstance, you might want a smaller, more deliberate trading company. That's why I have certain areas like this, which are all added, because I did that earlier in the game when we didn't have the dominance and so on.